Hello, callers, and welcome to Viva Barca. Welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on the latest developing stories as usual. We are going to be discussing on two stories in this episode. We start with Erling Haaland's agent, Rafaela Pimenta, who has recently hinted at a possible future Barcelona move for his player, saying that can't say no to LAPORTA. We are going to be discussing on everything he had to say on that as we progress. Then to conclude this episode, talking about this report claiming that Barcelona are currently prioritizing 4 contract deals for next season. We are also going to be discussing much on that. So guys, before we get right into the full story, please do ensure to subscribe. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Barcelona were among the clubs in contention to sign Erling Haaland in the summer when he was about to leave Borussia Dortmund. And although the Norwegian only had a mere grace release clause attached to his Dortmund contract, the Catalans could not afford the player due to his monstrous wages as the player eventually joined Manchester City. But as we approach the second half of the season, there has been a lot of conversation about Haaland's future, especially with the forward reportedly having a release clause attached to his Manchester City contract that will allow other clubs to sign him for a fee of around 200 million euros. With that in mind, Haaland's agent, Rafaela Pimenta, has recently spoken to Dario AS, where she has heaped praise on Joan Laporta, suggesting that it is very hard to say no to the Barcelona president. She said, "I always say that Laporta can't ask me for anything in football. It's not fair because he knows I'm going to say yes." Pimenta, who has taken over Haaland's transfer negotiations after former agent Mino Raiola passed away last year, told Dario AS. However, despite Pimenta's comments, Barcelona are not in any position to sign Haaland anytime soon, even if the forward is available for 200 million euros in 2024. The Catalans simply cannot afford to pay that much due to the club's inflated wage bill and altercations with the financial fair play rules. Barcelona, in fact, have been struggling to land realistic targets as La Liga have instructed them to cut down on salary of the budget and balance their books. As such, the likelihood of Haaland's potential move to the Camp Nou in the near future is close to none. Haaland was one of the most talked about transfer targets ever for Barcelona, like many other top clubs in Europe. I think Barca were the most linked club to Haaland, if I'm not mistaken, but Barca have always been the most linked club. They make the highest noise, but at the end, clubs who have the budget come and take the players, To be honest, from the way things are, no matter what, I don't see Haaland joining Barcelona anytime soon. Even though we can hear his agent talking about, if Laporta asks her anything, she can't disagree, but that does not mean that if Laporta asks Haaland will come. That's not the case. Haaland, we can see his heroics at Manchester City in the Premier League, already banking 25 goals in just 19 games. I think he continues to do what he does best, and definitely Barcelona or Laporta per se, we all know how Laporta likes Haaland a lot. Will be always eyeing a move no matter what for this young lad who scores for fun. But not anytime soon can we even see the possibility of Barca signing Haaland. We all know about the issue of financial fair play and things like that, wage structure and everything like that. So there's no way, absolutely no way that we can even dream of signing Haaland anytime soon. Despite his agent, trying to say, look, I'm loyal to Laporta. Whatever Laporta say, I might say yes. But that doesn't mean Haaland can join Barca anytime soon. We all know the wage structure and the financial fair play issues that we are currently going through right now in the league. So let's see how it goes. But Lewandowski came in all because we all know that we couldn't afford Erling Haaland. Lewandowski, a top striker, we bought him for 50 million euros. and I think his wages, he drastically reduced his wages that he did receive from Bayern Munich. Haaland, there was no way because Haaland's own wages could have been far much higher, and even though the release clause was somehow reachable when he was at Borussia Dortmund, but right now Man City have given him that release clause of about 200 million euros, and talk less of the wages that even if you sign him, how much will you be paying him? I think Barcelona don't even have any plan for that anytime soon. Then moving on to the next story of discussion, the long list of tasks at the offices of Spotify Camp Nou just keeps piling up. The renewal of existing players based on their performance, scouting players available on the radar, and formulating schemes to facilitate their arrival adds up to a hectic schedule for the Catalan management. In such a situation, it becomes vital for the board to prioritize their tasks and divide them into tiers based on urgency. Sport reveals one such categorization of the jobs pending at FC Barcelona, and it goes as follows. Sergio Busquets' future, the first. The topmost priority for Barca at the moment is to gain clarity over the future of Busquets. The veteran midfielder is in the final year of his deal at Barca and was expected to leave the club at the end of the season. Xavi, however, would prefer to keep his former teammate at the club for another season. The club will hence present Busquets with an offer of an additional year, but it will require the Spaniard to accept a wage slasher. Busquets' decision is hence binding on Barcelona's, as Barca would have to pursue the signature of a top long-term replacement if he leaves in the summer. The second, Alejandro Balde's new contract. If Pedri was Barcelona's star in 2020-21 and Gavi 2021-22, then the current season belongs to Alejandro Balde. The young left-back has safely secured a starting spot at left-back under Xavi, displacing the experienced Jordi Alba and Marcos Alonso in the process. His current contract expires in June of next year, and it is an absolute priority for the club to keep him for years to come. It is important to note that the two parties are yet to strike an agreement. The third, Sergio Roberto's uncertain future. Sergio Roberto is neither a complete right-back nor a well-rounded midfielder, and it is very facet of his game that prevents him from being a regular starter at Barcelona. His inability to excel at either position forces Xavi to limit his involvement to cameos and as a backup for injured players. Having seen a steep fall in playing time this season, the third captain is having serious doubts over his continuity at the club. The board too share the same dilemma and contemplate whether a renewal is justified. That decision stands third on Barca's roster now. The fourth and the last, more Dembele drama. It seems like Barcelona went through the entire Ousmane Dembele renewal saga just yesterday. However, both clubs and players have come a long way since, with the Frenchman even established himself as one of the most important players in Xavi's regime. Dembele has openly spoken about his desire to stay in Barca for years to come. That step remains to be officially taken, and the exchange of signatures between the two parties is one of the objectives of the coming months. So guys, with that we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.